couldn't get into IAS. My job was very bureaucratic. Oh, night school, okay, they are all, the students are losers. Being in the BMC premises, the BMC doesn't allow computer labs to. And I saw the teacher teaching chemistry practical on the blackboard. Because we started with just 36% and we ended up with 76% results. We provide short-term scholarships to students and long-term scholarships.
Hello everyone, welcome to Eureka Moment. Today we have Nikita Ketkar with us, who after clearing UPSC exam had served in DRDO. Prior to that, she was a journalist. Her zeal to contribute to children and society has led her to an initiative called Masoom. She has received many awards for her work, and today she is going to share with us her Eureka Moment and her journey. Hello Nikita, welcome to Eureka Moment. So before we start this interview, we would like to know more about you and your initiative.
I have completed my post-graduation from Mumbai University. Prior to that, I was in Eureka College. I was always passionate about being in the service because I wanted to be closely connected to people and be a part of the social development. And so I studied for the UPSC exam. I got through the exam, and then after clearing the exam, I couldn't get into IAS because of the merit list. I mean, I was not one of the toppers, and so my job was very bureaucratic in the sense that it was just limited to files and office spaces. And after having served the Ministry of Defense for 6 years, I decided to get back into the field. So I've served as a civilian officer in DRDO's Air Headquarters and NCC Directorate. And after the stint with the government, while I was actually in the NCC Directorate in Mumbai, I decided to volunteer for some organizations, and that's when I came across night schools.
Okay. So thanks for the introduction, Nikita. We would like to know more about you and your initiative, and hence we have divided this interview into 4 different rounds, starting with the first one, the pitch deck. So what are the different programs you cover to empower night school?
So the main program that we cover is when I did a research on night schools in 2006-07, I realized that most of these schools do not have access to resources such as notebooks, textbooks. They don't have access to labs. Actually the science practicals are being taught on a blackboard. So our main intervention is around ensuring that all these students get access to basic material, which otherwise a day school student would get, like notebooks, textbooks, science labs. We also provide library books to them, e-learning material, because these schools, unlike the day schools, run for only 3 hours in the evening. And most of the students, almost 60-70% of the students are working students. They work as courier boys, canteen boys, the girls work as domestic help. And after a hard day's work, they come in the evening to study. So just rote learning and textbooks is not enough. So we introduced e-learning kits, which is the syllabus which is taught through audio-visual learning. And that is what Masoom gives. We also introduce evening meals like the midday meals. Because they come straight from work and they are hungry. So on a hungry stomach, they cannot really concentrate on their studies. So that's the main focus of our intervention was around giving them the basic resources that was missing, and so we provide all of that. And then the next step is about building capacity of the various stakeholders, which is we do teacher trainings, we do headmaster trainings, and a lot of work around the academic portion, the syllabus. The aim being that more and more students who come to night school should pass the exam.
So Nikita, who can learn from these programs, and how to enroll for these programs?
Right from 18-year-old or 14-year-old student, adolescent to adult who would be working in the BMC or any government system, or a housewife, grandmother who just wants to come back to school, or a grandfather who wants to just come back and complete education. The procedure of enrollment is very simple. You just have to have the willingness to come and study.
Yep.
So in the 8th standard, there is just a test exam that is being conducted by all the schools, just to see that there is a basic literacy level.
Yes.
It's not completely, they're not completely illiterate, but that again is a formality, because even if they do not, our schools ensure that they are taken in the system, and then they are given that kind of capacity to come to that level.
Yep.
So it's very simple. Of course, we do need the school leaving certificate.
Yes.
And also sometimes the Aadhaar card they ask, but
Yeah,
all these are not a compulsion. There are a lot of there is a lot of flexibility in the system which allows anybody to get involved
Yep.
in these schools.
So what are the different grading system used in Masoom night schools?
We came up with a grading tool. Actually, it was the grading tool of the government, Education Department of Maharashtra had come up with a grading tool. We just customized it to night schools, and we started using it in 2013. In 2017, we had a MOU with the government to use the Shala Siddhi tool across all the night schools, because it was almost matching with what we had.
Yep.
And they had just improvised on the tool, so it became all the more easy.
Yes.
So the main parameters of the tools are SSC pass percentage, enrollments in the school, the infrastructure facilities, how proactive the headmaster and the management
Yes,
is,
yes.
the teaching learning process in the school. So these are the various parameters, and that's how we do the grading of the school.
So, what motivates students to come to the night school and keep coming back there? So, what is the motivation for them?
Yeah, so the motivation is the flexibility that the system gives, the
Yeah.
night schools.
Yeah.
One is the timing, because the day schools and the afternoon school is not very
Yeah.
comfortable for everybody, and they're not the timings don't suit everybody's requirement and needs. And evening schools provide that kind of platform where there is a lot of flexibility in terms of timings. It's only for 3 hours. The platform itself has given these segments
Yes,
of population
yes.
a chance to come back to school and complete their formal education.
Of course.
So that's the beauty of the night school system, and that
Makes sense.
I think motivates them
Yep.
to come there.
So what are the biggest misconception people have about night school?
The biggest perception about night schools and the students has been that these students म्हणजे आपण मराठीत टपोरी मुलं हे बोलतो.
Yeah.
So they are losers. They basically students come to night schools because they have not done well in day schools.
Yeah.
They have dropped out of day schools.
Yes.
They couldn't make it, and so no other platform. That's why night school. Oh, night school. Okay, they are all. The students are losers, and they are either losers or they are so weak that they cannot be absorbed into day schools. And so there is no other platform but the night school. So that has been the perception.
So, Nikita, who all are in your team? I mean, it's a huge mammoth task which you're doing. So, who all contribute in your team and your ecosystem?
Yeah, so we have a huge team. It's a team of 50 staff. And most of them are in the field because we have now 85 schools. So
Yeah.
one program manager takes care of 6 schools. Then we have one program head that takes care of 23 schools. And then we have a lot of other academic team members
Okay.
because we do a lot of work around SSC improvement program.
Yes.
We also have a career cell that takes care of students post 10 standard, which is we provide a lot of skilling support to them and then also place them. So we have those team members. They also do counseling of the students. And then we have, of course, our bus, which imparts science and technology curriculum. So we have that team. We have IT trainers with us. We have trainers who have done courses in science and technology, like it could be 3D printing, mobile application development. So that team we have.
What do you see future of night school in India?
So in the last 2 years we got an opportunity to do a research, and we had some consultants who got involved in the research to study various models in the country on similar models that exist like night schools, and the conclusion is that there are no such models like the one that exists in Maharashtra. It's the only model that has been supported and aided by the state government. It has a long history of 150 years, and the number of schools also are quite huge compared to the other. So a few models that we did come across were not same as the one that is in Maharashtra, and so there is a huge scope for this model to be taken to other states. In fact, we were just invited by Gujarat government recently, about 6 months back, to set up night schools in Gujarat. There is a huge interest, and when we talk about it in national conferences and seminars.
Are there been any government initiatives for night schools now?
Yes, so because the teachers are from the government, the salaries of the teachers is borne by the government, the state education department. The government also takes care of the 8th standard textbooks and nutrition for the 8th standard students, which is the meals for the 8th standard students. Other than that, it is just the management that has to take care. They do trainings for them, which is again because the trainings are done for day school teachers. The night school teachers automatically get absorbed there because they are the teachers who are now in the night schools are day school surplus teachers. That's how they get trained.
So here we come to the end of first round, and we are moving to our second round, which is the un, dos, tres. Okay, Nikita, so what are the 3 biggest accomplishments of your initiative till now?
So the first one is bringing dignity to the night school students and the misconception about night schools, and we had to literally dislodge the perception that was there. So bringing that right dignity to them, I think, is the biggest achievement. The second big achievement is, I would say, that we have actually been able to move the government to a large extent with the advocacy that we've done. So the 8th standard nutrition that is coming to the not just Masoom Night School but across is because we literally forced them to come up with a GR government resolution because it was a part of the system and night schools were not given that. Thirdly, I think the career cell has made a big impact. That's where it's a game changer because we started with just 36% and we ended up with 76% results with more than 20 schools on 100% results, which was our goal always. But beyond that, we wanted to see that these students who are working as courier boys, canteen boys, go beyond that.
Of course.
And are able to be placed in better jobs.
What are the 3 activities that are done by Masoom that you want to highlight?
Yeah, so one is of course the school prep program which I mentioned about, that we work with the school to improve the quality of the schools. The second important program is the career cell, which is we provide short-term scholarships to students and long-term scholarships. The next program is the Tech on Wheels, which we have 2 buses that are equipped with laptops because otherwise our students don't get access to computers. Being in the BMC premises, the BMC doesn't allow computer labs to get, for the students. They don't have access to the computer labs. So that's how we came up with the idea of a bus, that we will carry the computer lab to the school so they can actually come into the bus. And so it's equipped with laptops and internet facilities. So we give them hands-on knowledge on basics of all, it could be Word, Excel and PowerPoint.
So Nikita, what are 3 major goals you want to achieve in next coming years?
Major goal is to take the night school model to other states.
Okay.
And Gujarat has already invited us, so we have to start there, and we will be starting there. But simultaneously, our attempt is going to be to set up these centers wherever the government is proactive. The second thing that we want to focus is on child protection and child rights. The rights of children, which we have worked to an extent, but we have not worked extensively on this aspect. And the third thing is, of course, we want to make the career cells stronger, because we believe that that's where students want support.
Of course.
And we will be reaching out to more number of students. Right now, every year we reach out to 350 students through short-term scholarships, but the plan is to reach out to more, which is almost double every year, and also the long-term support we want to increase. So that's the goal.
That's good.
Yeah.
What are the 3 tips you would like to give to someone who wants to start doing social work?
So one is to listen to your heart. That is the key, because nothing else works. No amount of logic and analysis and statistics and works in this space. It is about your intuition, and it is about what you have to just listen to your heart and follow it, and that is what I would say. Do not hesitate to take bold steps. That's the second tip I would like to give. And the third thing is persistence. You have to be, because there will be challenges. There will be huge challenges. It's not easy. Sometimes it is a lonely place to be.
Yes.
You might feel that, I am the only victim, but it is not like that. There are many others in the field going through the same thing. So you have to keep you have to have that quality of persistence and keep pursuing your goals.
So there are a lot of audience watching. Okay, can you tell, if someone wants to contribute to Masoom, how can they do it?
Yeah, so the biggest contribution would be to volunteer with us. Secondly, yes, of course, donating. They can adopt schools. They can directly give support to the schools. They can, in fact, mentor students and also support them. So we also, through the career cell, because the long-term scholarships that we give is limited to few students, they can actually take care of one student or 2 students throughout, and they can actually see the journey and see the student, make the student's dream come true, in fact, for them. So that is how. Third thing is, of course, building visibility. I personally don't invest a lot of time in PR and communication, because I think the work speaks for itself, but it is not always like that. Sometimes I keep getting comments, your website is so, it's like, it just indicates that you've not been working at all. And I'm like, every day there's so much happening that it can, cover some 10-15 pages. There's so much happening in Masoom, but unfortunately, we don't have the people within Masoom resources to do this kind of, and I think your initiative, Eureka, the very fact that you all came to us and you all are doing this is, I am really thankful to you all, because again, that is, you all are sensitive towards the social cause. That's why you all are doing that, and I'm really thankful, because whenever there are some media companies would say that if we will invite you, but then we will want something in return, and we completely say no for those kind of we don't want that kind of publicity, and we will not even encourage that. But yes, I mean, this is a noble cause that you all have taken up, and I think this is what we want. So more and more people who can just cover this for us and bring us visibility, us as in night schools and the students.
Makes sense. Totally.
We have come to the most important round of this interview, which is the Eureka Moment round. So we would like to know about your Eureka Moment and why you are doing what you are doing right now.
Okay. I was in the NCC directorate when I was on deputation here in Mumbai, and I was quite keen to work in the education space. And so while working on another project for an NGO, I came across night schools, and I walked into, I remember the name of the school, and the school is in Chembur and now is a part of Masoom family. I walked into the school and I looked at the students, and there were all kinds of, so we had adults there and youngsters and girls. And what the Eureka Moment was when I saw the teacher teaching chemistry practical on the blackboard. And I was stunned. And I said, how are they going to understand it? Because they were 10th standard students and their exams were just around the corner. And they had to give the practical exams just within a month's time. And then I asked the teacher there, how will they do the practicals if you're going to show them on the blackboard? Because there they will have to, use the actual acids. And so they said that's how it is here. That's how, because we don't have access to school labs. And I said, then why don't you all ask them? And it was a very innocent question, that why don't you all ask them to give access? And they said, it's not so easy. And so it stopped there. And I kept thinking about it. Why did he say that? Why did he say that it was not so easy? They just had to go into the next door lab and start performing those practicals and give them the experience. And so then I, before I left, I also asked that who are these students, what is the profile of the students? And then they said that the students most of them are working. There was a domestic help sitting there. There was a student who was a newspaper vendor, a student who was working in a factory, who's after a hard day's work, they've come on their own to study. So then I went back and I was thinking that I have gone to the school because my parents have sent me. These students are in the school because they want to come. And when they have so much motivation, we should be giving them the best education. Because if at all anybody deserves, they deserve. And so that's how it just triggered, and that was my Eureka moment.
So from looking at the classroom board and understanding that practicals are more important, and on that basis taking a decision of understanding how the students will move forward, and also working towards it and making it happen, and that's something which is really excellent thing which Nikita has done and her team has done, and that's indeed a very nice Eureka moment. I've never heard of this kind of Eureka moment which is coming up, and on this thing I would say that we have come to the end of our third round, and we will be moving to our fourth and final round, which is the rapid fire round. So let's start with it. So Nikita, if you get a chance to go in past and change something, what would be the first thing you will do?
So I will probably change the intervention with which we started, in the sense that we started without taking the government into confidence, without a government MOU. And that we worked for almost till 2017. And suddenly one government resolution took away all the teachers and took away all the work that we had done. Almost 23 schools were on grade A. And they suddenly dipped down because teachers who we had invested in for so long, they were taken away by the government resolution. That was the most hitting point, and then if I had to change something, I would change that and say, do your basic homework, get the government on board, let them also be equally responsible for all, because it is their responsibility as well.
Of course.
And so I would change that.
One person you admire the most?
My father. He's so passionate. He's been a doctor. He's served beyond his calling, as in poor community, conducted camps and stuff. So I've seen, right since my childhood, I've seen that passion in him for doing something for others. I think that's where I get my inspiration from.
What keeps you motivated every day?
One is my night school students. I see the motivation, I see their energy, and so whenever I feel low, I walk into a night school and I just tell myself that these students have come after a hard day's work. They need not come here. They are earning, their parents have not sent them, but they are still coming. And they have the motivation, so I also need to keep up that.
Yes.
So if you were not in Masoom, what do you think you would be doing now?
I don't know. I maybe in some village or in some place which would have, definitely with people and doing something for the people, because there's something called as your Swadharma Bolto. There's, and I think that it's a calling for me, that it's a innate quality in me to give back. So even in my personal life, I don't like to just while away my time. I would rather contribute in some way or the other towards the happiness and development of somebody else.
One thing you never get tired of doing, always.
Working,
Okay.
yeah, I never get tired of it. I love to work, and it just keeps me going on.
So, last question of this interview. Okay, your favorite pastime is?
To travel.
So it was an amazing interview with Nikita Ketkar, and do guys visit Masoom, understand what they are doing. Nikita has already given a lot of understanding about what they are doing. Do contribute in any ways you can, and we have come to the end of this interview itself. So if you enjoy this video, do like,
Share.
Subscribe.
thank you.
Hi, I'm Trupti Natekar. I have an initiative, Pathfinders, a parenting journey. I will be coming soon on Eureka Moments, so do watch this space.